Well, as he said, I'm Sam Lark, originally from Philadelphia. I am a military spouse, 16-year veteran of the Air Force. My love, we're going to get to that in a minute. I went to Temple University, and I have a degree in chemistry, Bachelor of Science. So, as Jorge did mention, I speak on using social media to create what I call career security. And the reason why I do that is, as I said, I went to Temple, got my degree. As everybody told you, go to school, get good grades, graduate, so you can get a good job, right? Has anybody else heard that story? Or am I the only one? Okay, so y'all parents must know mine. Okay. But I found out that that was a fairy tale. Because I went to school, I got those good grades, and then I struggled. I did get into the field that I chose, chemistry, but then I found myself working 2 jobs, underemployed, struggling, and then finally using social media to get hired. So the reason why I speak to give hope to those that are like me that need to search for a job, those that will future search for jobs, and those who have searched, struggled, toiled, got hired. We're not alone. Today, when it comes to getting hired, it's no longer what you know or even who you know, but it's who knows you. Has anybody heard that saying? Okay, 3 people. Good. Now everybody's heard it. When it comes to who knows you, the reason why that's important is because, say Jorge, I say, hey, you know the CEO of Dell, and I want to get a job there, so hook me up, get my resume. Jorge, being the nice guy that he is, he say, sure, I'll hook you up. He'll go to the CEO of Dell, present my resume. The CEO of Dell may say, okay, now I know you, Jorge, we're good, but tell me a little bit more about Sam. What is his character like? Is he going to fit my company culture? Now, if Jorge can't speak to effectively speak who Sam is, that recommendation won't carry much weight. Flip side, say Jorge and I, we went to Sweden, as I found out some of you all are going. We froze during the time that we were there, but we spent time, we got to know each other, we got to connect. He got to know who I am, what's my why, what drives me. Then when he goes to that CEO, be like, yo, check out this guy Sam, man. He can speak well, he can navigate conversations good, he has that political savvy, he can get people to do what he wants them to do. That recommendation holds a lot of weight. It's not that I knew Jorge, but the fact that he knew me so well that he can effectively talk about who I am. That's career security. So the first introduction I had to this who knows you is my first job. Mom's Bakery in Philadelphia. I was 13 years old, no experience, shy, walk with my head down, introvert. My grandma hooked me up. She knew the owners of Mom's Bakery, Mr. and Mrs. Bell. My grandma, she spoke up her grandson to them and said, hey, he's going to do a great job, give him a chance. She knew my character, she knew my current and my future abilities. So she persuaded Mr. and Mrs. Bell to give me a shot. I remember walking around my head down. Mr. Bell pulled me to the side. He said, son, pick your head up. Nobody's going to take you seriously unless you look them in the eye. Let them know that you're confident in what you're saying. Over the next 4 years, I gleaned so much from their mentorship, Mr. and Mrs. Bell together. And I got to the point where I turned into an extroverted people person. You can come in looking for directions, and you will walk out with a dozen of donuts, some rolls, and a towel from the floor. I had to get the gab, baby. But thankfully, I remember Mrs. Bell one time saying, Sam, you're going to make an awesome doctor. She knew my dream was to become a heart surgeon. And it was things like that when she poured into me, Mr. and Mrs. Bell. I appreciated that. That mentorship, it meant something to me. And I'm pretty sure we all have those in our lives that have spoken kind words over us, encouraged us to do things. Hence, Div Day, thank you to all the coordinators and the people that have brought this together for all of us to get something out of it. I charge you, think about those that have poured into your life, that have encouraged you, that have helped you, that have mentored you. Thank them, because mentorship matters. I went to Temple, majoring in chemistry, pre-med, and I found myself in a program, Medical Society of Eastern Pennsylvania. Summer enrichment program. This is after my sophomore year. I'm shadowing 8 African-American physicians. Now, the reason why that's important is because I wanted to see people that looked like me doing what I wanted to do. We all want to feel like we belong. We don't want to always feel like we're the trailblazers. We're the one and only in our industry that looks like us. Anybody else know what I'm talking about? Makes sense. I appreciated those physicians because they leveled with me. They told me what it was like to be a physician, but also a physician of color, the pros and the cons. I came to a point after the program, did some soul searching, realized I don't want to be a heart surgeon anymore. Man, almost all of my life I wanted to be this heart surgeon. I told everybody, a cardiovascular surgeon. What do I do now? That began my journey of finding myself, finding my passion. And we all have our own separate journeys of finding our passion. We want to do those things that we're passionate about. Trust your journey, your process. Graduated, struggling because I was like at that time, man, I want to go get my teeth cleaned, but I don't have no benefits. It's realized it. And I realized I had a few months after I graduated to continue working as a tutor at the college tutoring center. A colleague that I tutored with for several years, I was telling him about my plight and like, man, I'm looking, I'm searching, I'm on all these billboards, career builder. And she said, it's a private Christian school that I'm working for, but I'm about to leave because I have this other opportunity. They're looking for somebody. Now, part of me should have asked, why are they looking for somebody? Why are you leaving? But no, at that time, I needed to get a job. So since she knew me, she knew my personality, she knew my character. Again, going on that relationship, she knew how well I was able to instruct others. She spoke me up. I got the job. Challenge is I didn't know my worth. They paid me, and I agreed to a salary that if you did it by how much I made per hour, I was making less at that job than I did as a tutor. Sometimes in our lives, we find ourselves not really valuing or knowing our true value. Have you ever gotten someone that gave you a compliment, but you say, nah, man, no, not me? It's important to know the true value that you carry. And don't ever let anybody pay you less than what you really are worth. I don't care what anyone says. Who cares about your experience or lack thereof? You invested to go to school. You have the ability to market yourself to get top dollar. Remember that. So, I remember a situation where two of my students, 6th graders, come in, hands me a note. At the time, I didn't realize they were sitting there waiting for me to open this note up. Simply said, stop picking on my daughter. This was from the daughter's father. I look up, they're smiling at me. See, I went to school and I could teach math, but I didn't go to school for education and, managing the class and working with young people. I struggled. I was depressed. I couldn't believe this is what it came to. All those years of struggling and doing what I was told to do, going with that story. And here I am being ridiculed by kids, parents, administration that didn't have my back. One day, one of the colleagues of mine, he sat me down. He knew I was having a rough time. And he gave me a phrase that I'll never forget. He said, blessed are the flexible, for they shall not be bent out of shape. You have no control over what happens in the course of your day. But what you do control is how you allow those outside factors to dictate how you feel on the inside. Oftentimes in my email signature, I'll say, have a great day on purpose. More than likely, I sent you a couple texts like that. And the whole purpose of that is, whatever goes on, you determine how your day is. You control your reality. It doesn't matter what goes on based on your inside, your mind, your mindset. It's all good. Thankfully, I made it through that year, and I got a job in my career profession in chemistry. I'm working polymer chemistry, research and development. Things are going good. 4 years I'm working. Then something threw me off course. A buddy of mine I grew up with said, Sam, my sister's been asking about you. What? See, let me give you a little background. This sister, Michaela, she and I grew up together. I've known her since I was 5. We were best friends growing up. Teenagers, started dating. beautiful. Through life, we got separated. She went off to the military, and I stayed at home. She would come back and forth every now and then, but the relationship just wasn't the same for about a good 10 years. So when this guy said, hey, my sister been asking about you, I'm like, why haven't you set it up? Why am I not talking to her right now? Like, for real, you're wasting time. It's not a game. So, as you can tell, I was excited. I called her at about 11 o'clock. She didn't pick up. Come to find out, she told me, that's booty call hours. I'm not that kind of girl. So I called her the next day when the sun was up. And we talked on and off throughout the whole day. It was like old times. We were vibing. We got the chance to reminisce. And we started to learn some new things about each other. The next day, I called her back. I'm on my way to work. I was like, I'm so sorry. We just got off the phone. I know it's early in the morning. It was like old times. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's make this work. Let's start dating. She said yes. I was like, oh, I'm just saying. Who did it? I did it, yeah. In her mind, she was like, I don't have anything else better to do. She took it as a joke. She's in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. But little did she know, a year to the day we started dating, May 9th, 2012, we got married. So 3 months into the time we were dating, we realized this long distance thing wasn't for us. So I picked up everything I had and I left Philly, first time ever leaving Philly, went to Florida to be with her. We got a place in Orlando. Neither one of us did our due diligence because we didn't realize the economy sucked. If you weren't in hospitality or tourism or real estate, shame on you. For the next 3 years, we struggled with my degree and my 4 years of experience in research and development in polymer chemistry. I couldn't find anything. At one point, I was working 2 jobs. I was working a part-time gig filtering water samples. Then I would leave there and go to a full-time second shift manual labor job outside paying minimum wage. Had to do what you got to do. And on top of that, we only had 1 car. So of course, baby, you take that. I rode my bike 18 miles a day, 7 days a week, for at least 3 months to those jobs. I was in the best shape of my life, though. I ain't gonna lie, boy. It was a long time ago, don't judge. But as the time went on, we realized if nothing changes, nothing changes. Thankfully, my wife came across a program that took military members, gave them the training they needed, and helped them make that transition from the military to civilian life. It wasn't a shoe-in. She wasn't in yet, but we were like, look, let's go. Put everything that we could fit into our Nissan Sentra with our 2 dogs, everything else in storage. And we made our way back up north to New Jersey where the program was. For the next several weeks, we couch hopped. We were literally homeless. We lived in Delaware, Pennsylvania, and Jersey so that she could get into this program. 100 applicants, 15 spots. Not only did she get in, she was the only woman, and not only the only woman, the only woman of color. So shout out to Michaela. While she was doing that, I was trying to get something myself. So here we are, we're back up north. We're in Jersey at the time. And I did what everyone else said to do. Go to job fairs, get yourself out there. So I go to this job fair that's for military and their spouses. And I meet this guy from Orkin Pest Control. So not only do I go from research and development in chemistry to now working outside in the heat in Florida, now you're thinking I'm killing bugs now? But you know what? I put my pride where it belongs. Like, we can't keep eating spam. We need to be able to bring some money in. So let me make a good rapport with this guy and see what he has. We exchanged information, connected on LinkedIn. That was it. January 2015. Several months went by. I'm now a telemarketer. I'm calling you on a Sunday morning, like 9 o'clock in the morning, like, hey, would you like to donate to this local charity? Again, not using that degree to the full extent. But I decided, you know what? Let's look at the benefit. I started to begin looking at LinkedIn and how it can be used to further your career. And I started to write articles. So April the 2nd, 2015, I wrote an article about how you should look at your telemarketing experience. It teaches you to be resilient, deal with rejection, a lot of that, and negotiate. That same day that I published that article, no more than 12 hours later, that same gentleman I met several months prior from Orkin sent me a message on LinkedIn saying, hey, a role became available and I would like to know, would you like to come in and interview for it? I don't know what kept me from calling him that minute and saying, yes, please. But I collected myself. And I went in and I got the job. Now, I'm not saying that LinkedIn, social media is the end all, the be all when it comes to getting hired, because you still have to interview well, you still have to have a good resume, and you still have to connect with people. But what I am saying is, social media can be a powerful tool that can get your foot in the door. Had he and I not connected on LinkedIn, he may not have gotten the notification that I wrote that article and kept me top of mind when that role became available. So after almost a year, my wife is now in that program. They placed her in HP as a project manager. She's a contractor. My baby, so good. So good. See, they told her, not too many people get this amount, after you come out of this program. Like I told y'all in the beginning, you don't let anybody tell you your worth. She networked, negotiated, and she got more than what they said. They offered her a full-time role in Austin. That's how we got here. Now I'm here in Austin, again, without a job. This is a recurring theme. I just can't get a job. But I'm a little more social media savvy now, right? I look online and they say some of the best places to work in Austin. And I find this place called Main Street Hub. Okay. What's this Main Street Hub about? So I look and I see what their value is and what the job had to offer. So I applied. I did what everybody else does to do, say to do. But I didn't stop there. At that time, this is back January of 2016, LinkedIn still gave you the opportunity to use the advanced search tool to look within a company and see everyone that had a certain title. So the role that I went for was Customer Success Manager. And I looked at everybody that had that title. And I sent them out connection requests, one by one. Now, we all know, just because you're on LinkedIn or you have an account does not mean that you're using it. So all these requests I sent out, I didn't get a lot of responses. But I didn't stop there. I reached out to managers, executives, even the two co-CEOs and founders of the company. Yeah, I was reaching out. But I looked at their profile and I said, you know what? I see Twitter handles. Some people have their Twitter handle on their LinkedIn profile. So I went to Twitter, and if it didn't say user not available, or if they actually tweeted in the last year, I sent them a connection, or sent them a tweet, and I said, hey, I sent you a LinkedIn request. I look forward to connecting. And I attached my digital business card. I created a Twitter list of everybody that I could find in Main Street Hub that had an active account, and then also the company account. And I looked day by day. What are they tweeting about? How can I learn about the culture? How can I learn about the projects? People are investing into this company, giving them millions of dollars, so that means it must be stable. I don't have to go back to killing bugs. Over time, I would reach out and have conversations. And it wasn't, hey, I applied last week, what's going on? No. Relationships. I had ongoing conversations with my future manager about his love for college football and his family. You wouldn't think about that in a career job search. Over time, the recruiter reached out and was like, hey, Sam, we saw your resume. We want to bring you in for an interview. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you saw my resume. I made you see it. I know you're about to tell me, come on. I didn't say that to him, though. Don't do that. Don't do that. So I went in, interviewed, got the job. When they found out all that I did to get their attention on Twitter, they wrote an article about me being their first ever hire from Twitter on the company blog. It's all about relationships. That's how I'm here. See, on LinkedIn, my man Coy McDermott, you're going to meet him a little later today. I saw his videos. I saw his passion, his drive. I saw how his energy was captivating. And I sent him a connection request. Found out he's also from Philly. I'm like, oh, we vibe. Like, you know what? Let's meet in person. He's here in Austin. I'm like, okay. That's the good thing about LinkedIn and social media. It allows you to take your online relationships offline to build them in person, whether it's a video call, meet for coffee. So we got to know each other. We started talking about who we were, the passion, the drive. After we built our relationship, several weeks ago, he was like, Sam, I heard this conference called Div Day. They're looking for speakers. Are you interested? Yes, I'm interested. Why are you still talking to me and you're not introducing me? So he introduced me to Jorge. Now, the thing is, since Coy knew me, he knew my character, he knew my personality, he knew my drive, my why. He knew what I could do. That introduction got me here. So what does all this mean to you? The theme, the driving force throughout that whole story, I wanted to be successful. All of us in here want to be successful. And in order to be successful, I charge each and every one of you, focus on building relationships. At the end of the day, it's the relationships that matter. None of us have gotten to where we are without someone else. And on top of that, if you have a goal, if you have a dream that only you can achieve by yourself, dream big. You want a dream so big, it wakes you up at night. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I keep thinking about it. You want something so big that people hear about it and like, I want to get on board with that. I want to help you accomplish that. That's what you want. So in closing, relationships matter. It's not what you know, it's not who you know, but it's who knows you. And a well-known public speaker, Zig Ziglar, summed it all up and said, if you can help enough other people get what they want, you can have what you want. Putting others first allows you to get whatever you want in life. And that's the key to building relationships. Put others first. Because the law of reciprocity is in effect. Whatever you put out, you do get back. But if you sow a seed, you don't just get one thing back. You get an overabundance back. And I like going back to that same quote from Zig Ziglar. If you just help enough other people get what they want, you can have what you want. That word enough is the driving force there. You can't measure enough. So that means just keep doing good, and more good. And later on down the line, you'll look behind. Opportunities will just overtake you. Relationships matter. Thank you.